Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host, and this week's episode is again from SEMA, a really good, I hope you guys are enjoying this kind of SEMA series, and a really good interview. I sit down with the IDA president, but more than that, he is the spokesperson, or the face, I guess you could say, for Buff and Shine buffing pads, and I really do think, and I kind of mentioned it in this episode, but I do think we are really moving into a much more simplified paint correction process. And I think buffing pads play a huge role in that. And I think you can get a lot of results from just switching up your pad more so than the liquid. I think for a long time we've looked at just the liquid and kind of ignored the pad. But I do think finally companies are catching on, and we are kind of moving to a much more simplified approach to paint correction, kind of a dumbing down. I feel like for a while there, it just got put up on this pedestal that it didn't need to be on. So me and Justin kind of talk about that. We talk about a few new pads that were released through Buff and Shine to again help simplify that process, or kind of make it just make it able so you can get the results that you want much quicker. So I hope you enjoy that. What else? Again, autofiber.com.au and autofiber.ca for those of you in Canada and Australia. I was communicating with the Australian distributor a little bit, and they are using code Jimbo. So if you're down under, which is probably one of my favorite places ever, not to take away from Canada, but you can use code Jimbo. I'm sure if the Canadian distributor, I just honestly don't know who it is. I'm sure if you contact them and use code Jimbo, they will give you a discount as well. So that's awesome there. The Detailer Inner Circle, of course, guys. We have this text messaging marketing platform built into the Detailer Inner Circle that is free once you're in the Detailer Inner Circle. That is insane. It's called SMS Conversations. It is definitely the next frontier for marketing for your business to communicate with clients. It's way better than email. It syncs with Google AdWords. It is insanity. And I'm really going to start pumping the Detailer Inner Circle a lot harder, because I just feel that, you know, the whole notion or the whole thesis of me starting this podcast in general is to make you a better detailer, make you a more profitable business owner. And finally, I've been able to do that and culminate it all in one place called the Detailer Inner Circle, and I love it. So if you have any questions, you, of course, message me. We could hop on a call to talk about it, whatever, but you need to be a part of the Detailer Inner Circle. You get more access to me, training material, scripts to sell customers, text message scripts to market to customers, the platform to text message and slide dial customers. So follow-up is a breeze, quoting is a breeze. We have a whole automation for how to quote customers, so no more, spending tons of time quoting customers. Make it super. We have simplified that process. DetailerInnerCircle.com is where you could get more info. And I'm becoming so passionate about the Inner Circle that it's becoming insane, and I just got to yell from the rooftop. So anyway, with that, I hope you enjoy this episode with Justin and myself from SEMA in the Buff and Shine booth. Here we go. Mics are hot. Be careful what you say.
It has nothing to do with the detail industry. I didn't say that. It was Jimbo using my voice.
100%.
Voiceover.
All right, so we are back here at the Buff and Shine booth for the third year in a row, maybe?
Correct.
Interview?
Third year in a row.
With the IDA president. And what's your title with Buff and Shine?
Lead Global Consultant.
Lead Global Consultant. Justin Labato, thanks for coming back.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
As he gets a phone call, no worries.
Hey, I got to run a business. I got to be here.
I hear you. And you got a wife and family.
That's who's calling me. I'll make sure she listens to this. So it's validation that I was actually busy.
Yeah, right? So true. So thanks for doing this, another show, another interview. Why don't you catch us up to speed before we get into the pads? Tell us about what's going on with you personally. How's the shop? How's the IDA? What's going on there?
Shop is good. We're taking on the president position of the IDA. I already have a lot on my plate as it is with running a business and being the consultant for Buff and Shine. So I actually had a third guy that we hired on full-time versus going part-time.
Okay.
And it helped us have the opportunity to allow me to work more on the administrative side for the industry.
Yep.
And, of course, work on my business more than work in my business. So it allows me to kind of go out, coach the guys, get them set up in the right direction, help dial in the test spots so they just duplicate and move forward. And I just do the QCing and then, make sure I'm bringing in the work, the consultations, and closing the deals with the clients to keep the schedule full and busy and everybody paid.
Isn't that so funny? It's like I tell so many guys that like the detailing aspect alone is only such a small percentage of the whole picture, right? The quality control, the making sure there's new customers coming in or old customers are being followed up with or whatever. It's kind of, sometimes we forget the whole picture. But
that's the thing. People get so busy detailing that they forget to do those follow-up calls for the retention. There's so many things that so many industries are utilizing daily that we don't even look at because, it's a different industry.
Right.
No.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's so many things that are similar that we could be utilizing.
Yep.
It's just a matter of getting out of your bubble and don't stop trying to shine paint.
Right.
Shine paint.
Sure.
But be a businessman, be an entrepreneur that knows how to detail.
100%. And I love that. I think sometimes, too, we get caught like just looking at what everyone else is doing in the industry and doing that. But I think there's so much to glean when you look outside the industry to other similar industries or whatever.
Yeah.
And then take something from there and apply it to your business.
Yeah, and that's, a good point you touched on. Other people watching, with social media right now being so big and the cornerstone of how we live now this day and age.
Yep.
I think that's the biggest issue is everybody's got their eyes on everybody else and not themselves.
Right.
Focus on their self-growth and don't worry about somebody else's growth and what they're doing. Stay in your lane, do you.
Right.
That's why all these, think about it. I mean, all these major celebrities, all these major icons of business people and serial entrepreneurs, they stayed in their lane and they chased their dreams. And when they got a no, that was a good check mark for them because they were closer to a yes.
100%. 100%. Has there been any tools, software, obviously pads, and we're going to get to that in a second, but has there been, as you hired that third full-time employee, has there been any app or software or thing that you've done that has really helped you over the past year then to kind of maybe quality control, maybe bringing people in? Like, has there been one or two things or however many things that you can look back and be like, because I did that, it helped me in this area of my business?
I would just say, letting go.
Okay.
Not trying to be always in control. You could still do some micromanaging in regards to quality control, but, and getting some good software. We were traditional. I had invoices made, or I should say work orders made that complemented the kind of work that we did, so I could have areas to fill all that out. It was understandable and legible from the customer's point of view, my employee's point of view, but that went into a filing cabinet. So we, afterwards, we teamed up with Road FS and bringing in their software, and there's a lot of great software out there. And I looked at quite a few different ones that are out there with what's in our industry and what's out of our industry, and I just decided to go with them because they're already linked up with brands that I'm affiliated with. So I love supporting what I'm already doing. Love supporting the people in our industry. That's like in my shop, and not to get off subject, I don't have nothing to knock off. If it's expensive, that's fine. I'm just supporting our industry. You pay for what you get, one of those things. So that's why I went with them, and it's helped me a lot more in regards to just customer retention, documenting well, and then providing a invoice that looks a heck of a lot more professional. Like even with the QuickBooks, just having that makes a world of a difference. And what I found, and this may help too, the guys that are into coding's really big. When you document all the way down to the VIN number and the customer's address, anytime I've had a customer in this past, I would say year, get into some kind of fender bender, and they've had to report it to their insurance company, they have submitted those invoices because of how legit they look and how well documented they are. And the insurance company actually covers the reapplication. That had nothing to do with the coding company, the warranty, the brand. It was just because it was so well documented and professional that the insurance company was like, okay, this looks good.
So that software is is it a CRM and a invoicing and a payment, like kind of everything you could ever need for your
I can do
all-in-one?
inventory with it. I can
Inventory?
do all kinds
Okay,
of stuff.
wow.
You can do it online, check them out. No, I don't want to, they're
No, a lot of people ask, and that's why I'm asking.
And that's the thing. They cover it all, but there's so many things that they cover they could customize, and that's the other plus side. Is I went with them because, they're a team that if I need something done, they do it. They're not sending it overseas,
right?
And I have to wait a week for somebody to get something done over in some other country that doesn't even speak our language,
right?
So I call them, they address it, boom, done deal.
Right.
And I like that. I like that personal relationship.
Love it.
It's just like product manufacturers.
Right.
You like knowing that you could talk with the owner or the chemist
100%.
and get straight to the point, not a guy that's just pushing it trying to make dollars.
Right. Totally. So, love that. Let's transition into pads now. Was it 2 years ago that Buff and Shine released the Eurofiber, the Oreo pad?
That would be
or was that
our first SEMA.
Okay.
Which was 2016.
Okay, so 2 years ago.
Yeah,
yep.
2 years old.
Okay.
Correct.
So 2 years ago, and at that time, and even still, it's crazy, it's been 2 years already, but I remember specifically at that SEMA show, I thought that pad was the most, should have won product of the year, at least in the detailing industry. There really was no...
Well, the numbers don't lie. That's
right.
the
well,
thing. It was the most anticipated pad and the most highest selling single pad in the industry out of all manufacturers and all the different pads. And it still has...
It was the only piece of innovation that year.
Yeah.
It really was. I mean, I think maybe a new machine came out or something, but I think that year, and that really set the precedent, and I think you guys have done a great job in following that as well, not just resting on your laurels. Remember in 2016 when we had that great pad launch?
Yeah.
But you can have continued to do it even till now. So what pads are you releasing? Because you kind of use that as the initial launch pad to the new foams and the new pads that you're releasing to the Euro line. There you go.
So the cool thing is we've kept that momentum. With me being a detailer and being so involved with so many different brands, I'm always around and surrounded by other detailers, and they all have different needs and wants. And I'm always on social media watching, listening, and because of that, I take that in. I'm like, okay, we got to change this. Well, the cool thing about us is we're not some big corporate ladder that you have to go get it approved here, get it approved there, and then finally it makes it to the top guy to be like,
Right.
No. I just, call up Julio.
Right.
Julio talks it over with Rich. The thing is, Rich believes in us and trusts in us, so decisions we make, he's okay with.
Yep.
So just by having that blessings from the pad father is what we call him.
The pad father.
Hey, yeah, those pads, they're good. So, no, we move forward with innovation, and, last year we started launching more of the Euro line, and then this year, or I should take it back, in 2016, we came up with the idea of reflection artist.
Okay.
When we started that idea, that was something that I came up with as just a cool term, just a catchy phrase, hashtag reflection artist. And people loved it. And then I had, I give credit to Dave Christian.
Yeah.
Great logo maker.
Dude,
you guys need to look him up on social media. And he deserves this plug all day long.
That guy's done so many logos and business cards. It's insane.
I gave him the information, and he came back with the rendering, and we went back only 2 or 3 times, and boom, he dialed it in.
Nice.
And then after that, we presented it to Rich, and now it's a brand culture for us. It's a refacing of Buff and Shine.
Okay.
Think of the idea of what PNS has done with Double Black.
Right.
It just made PNS look sexy.
Right.
Without having to renew PNS.
Right.
But still doing that.
Right.
That's basically the same idea that we took, and
kind of freshening up the brand without taking away what's already worked.
But did we know what direction? No, you don't know what direction with things sometimes. And the fun thing about it is embracing the change, watching the direction it's going in, but helping guide it.
Right.
And then, so what we did was, with the brand culture, we figured that we could move forward with, apparel, pads, all these things. But it was also okay, if we did pads, how are we going to do that?
Right.
So that's what's sitting in front of us today.
Let's talk about it.
Reflection Artist pad line.
Yep.
So with that
Real quick, I just want to say for anyone asking, Euro, so we have the Euro fiber, the Euro wool, and when you use that term Euro, it stands for Ultimate Random Orbital, right? So these pads are designed to work on all the latest and greatest machines, right?
Correct.
To be balanced correctly or whatever the terminology for that is. But I just wanted to kind of
No, you're
preface
absolutely
that.
dead on. And, the purpose of making the different pad lines within the Euro pad line is to accommodate the different machine functions.
Right.
Well, now we have Reflection Artist pad line. That's a pad line for all machines. One pad line for.
Okay, so I yesterday did a podcast with the McGuire's guys, and they were kind of like, maybe with this thought and theory, but I wonder if you'll have the same opinion or different. Do you think that the industry is moving towards more of a and there's going to be fringe things, right? Fringe situations that come across. But do you think that the industry is moving towards more of a one machine, one liquid, maybe one or two pads, versus what it used to be, and I even saw a couple of the booths over here, is like the 3-step buff, right? Like a heavy cut, medium cut, and then a finish, right? Do you think it's moving towards and I say there's fringe things because obviously
you're saying being more simplistic.
Yes.
It is, but at the same time, that's the great thing about our industry. There's no standard, really.
Right.
So, we all try to give some standard. I mean, look at pads. Look at all the different colors. Detailers would love it if we all got on the same page and made the same color pad do the same thing.
Right.
But then there wouldn't be any
Right.
difference.
Right.
There wouldn't be any difference between every brand.
Right.
So, yes, there's a place for that, for the end user that needs it simple. But at the end of the day, we all know as true specialists.
Right.
Not a guy that's just done a couple cars and now he wants to be an internet specialist.
Right.
But a true specialist that, there's a lot of variables.
Right.
You got your hard, your soft paint.
Right.
The pad foam chemistry of the foam, it functions differently with different liquids.
Right.
The throw of it or the gear-driven aspect of it functions differently. It's
Right.
all those variables, the end user, arm speed, pressure, all these things come into a science. And so, yes, it's nice if people can do that for their brand to help some simplistic approaches.
Right.
And that's, again, with the Reflection Artist pad line, we've captured that and still a customary approach.
Okay.
That way, you're able to keep it simple.
Right.
But at the same time, you have the versatility of switching it up based on the paint system at hand. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
Because me as a detailer, I'm looking at how hard or soft is that paint.
Right.
Why was that Euro fiber that we came out with marring some of those softer finishes? Damn.
Right.
So we introduced the Euro fiber finisher.
Got it.
Boom.
Okay.
So now we heard,
and that's this one right here?
provided a solution. Correct.
So this is since I don't have the camera, this is a foam backed.
It's the same interface, the
Okay.
same structure, except we went with the traditional pile height.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
with a single, it's not single, but with the fiber being one kind of fiber versus the Euro fiber original that was two different fibers.
Gotcha. So this is an all black fiber.
Correct. It's like our traditional microfiber pads that we have, the orange and black ones.
Yeah.
We took that microfiber pile and applied it to the foundation of the Euro fiber.
So this is a thinner foam than the other ones, or no?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
And of course they can't see it on camera,
Right.
but if you look up, those
Gotcha.
are our traditional ones that
Right.
we first launched when microfiber was hot.
Right.
Now everybody has a different approach to microfiber, but they still don't have the Euro fiber.
Right.
It's trademarked.
Right.
However, so with this system, and to capitalize and to say, Reflection Artist is trademarked too. We don't mind if you use it when you're using our pads, but don't try going claiming it.
Got it.
It wouldn't be a good day.
I'm gonna claim it. I'm gonna start
using
using
a
it.
5-pad setup. Hey, I've got some Detail Mafia ties, and I've got 2 5-gallon buckets.
Yeah.
And
Watch
some
my back.
concrete. We could go on a late night fishing trip.
Uh-oh.
No.
Guys won't be back for year number 4. At the bottom of a lake somewhere.
So 5-pad lineup, and we introduced. We have 3 existing pads that people are already familiar with.
Right.
And we have 2 brand new pads.
Okay.
Starting with the brand new pad, and our most aggressive is going to be the Euro Wool Blend.
Okay.
It has a 3/4 inch pile height, and it has no interface. So it's the machine and the actual surface of the pad are closer to the paint.
Got it.
And then, of course, the blend of this is not what we use fully with our Euro wool. So our Euro wool is a knitted wool. This is knitted wool and synthetic wool.
Okay.
So it's a blend pad. So you get great cut and great finish, as to where with our Euro wool that we released last year, the white one,
right,
has just a great cut. Still great finish.
Right.
But this has a lot more finish capability to it.
Okay.
And we've done side-by-side comparisons, and obviously different paint types are going to be variable, but when you have the same paint type, you'll notice that white one has a much bigger bite and cut to it.
Gotcha.
As to where this one follows right behind it, but there's still some of those deeper defects behind.
Okay.
But that's okay, because think about it. If you've got a soft paint system and you're not trying to dig that deep,
right,
you don't want to over dig either.
Right.
So this is that sweet spot to be able to dig just deep enough to where you could come back with that second step and
finish
then walk away and prep it out and top it off with whatever protection.
Right. Okay.
So that's why we did. And then, of course, rotary use and all DA use. So this gives an option for the rotary guys still.
So what is this like on a rotary? Just a beast?
Smooth.
Okay.
It's like a Cadillac.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comes in 6, 5, and 3 inch.
Okay.
And that would be our heavier cut. And obviously, if you've got to start pulling out deeper things, then there's other options. It 100%. Is what it is.
Right.
We're not trying to say, oh, this system's going to be the god of pads, the god of systems that's going to be everything. No, this is just more of that variable system that allows you to capture probably 80 to 90% of everything you need to.
Okay.
With whatever machine. So if you've got the gear drivens and the long throws and the this and the that in your shop, you've got one system that accommodates all of it.
Okay.
So moving forward, then instead of using the Euro fiber pad, the cookies and cream pad, that was pretty aggressive. I mean, the aggressiveness, the level of that was very similar to that Euro wool blend. So we wanted to step down a little bit and still offer a fiber-based pad. So that's why we went with that Euro fiber finisher.
Okay.
Because that still has that capability of finishing out nicely, but having even a less bite and cutting power underneath this.
Got it.
But leading right up to it.
Sure.
And of course, people who enjoy the microfiber approach, they still have that option.
Gotcha.
And again, that pad is going to cover your.
Make sure you suck on this mic a little bit more.
Not a rotary, but of course all your DA machines.
Okay.
And that's a 6, 5, and 3 inch.
Gotcha.
And of course we've covered this because we released this last year.
Yep.
Then you come down into the maroon. The maroon came from our Eurotech line. The size of this comes in the standard of what we've been offering: 6, 5, 3, 2, and 1. But this is a great pad for those that have all-in-one products.
Yes.
And when I say all-in-one, not to get confused with a one-step.
Right.
Meaning all-in-one, the ones that clean, correct and protect.
Okay.
They're great for that. And then, of course, the one-step polish method, which offers a great level of enhancement, light defect, and then, great finish.
That's going to be the stiffest foam in the line?
Correct. And we have 3 foams. Now, and that one is, again, it's going to be a great versatile pad for that approach.
Yep.
If you had some compounding, but you didn't want to go super heavy and you were looking for that foam finish.
Gotcha.
Boom, there you are.
So you could pair that with a lighter polish.
Or even a heavy polish.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a matter of how you pair it up. There's no exact fit to that.
100%.
But once you know you're dealing with a fiber base, obviously you're going to have more bite from that.
Right.
If that's just not working for you, go foam.
Sure.
And then there's, of course, different levels of aggressiveness in foam.
Right.
To accommodate that as well. And then moving down, now we get into our new Reflection Artist Blue pad.
Okay.
This is one of the 2 from the Euro wool blend.
Yep.
To this, that's the 2 pads that we released within this line. And
these 2.
Correct.
Okay.
And
it's a great color. I don't know if that.
We call it the blueberry pad. And the demo team.
I don't know if it matters the color, but it looks very nice.
It is. Out of all the blues we have,
it's a great blue.
It's like when you get that blue Mustang or blue Camaro or blue BMW. Those
just a nice blue.
That they have. You just sit back after you get it all prettied up, and you're like, wow.
You have the other blue. up there, but
that blue is in our Eurotech. That's a very aggressive. That's that bug sponge-like material.
Yes, yep.
You know, people first time they've ever get introduced to that pad, they feel it and they're like, "Whoa, that's rough."
Right.
Those pads, and just to give you a quick tip, I found those pads, again, they have their place. They're amazing. They're great on that Toyota white, that single unified paint, or single stage paint to cut it down evenly and consistently and still salvage the pad without clogging it. Yeah. But anyhow,
sorry,
moving
tangent.
forward, tips and tricks. This one, on the other hand, this pad basically closed the gap between our maroon and then our light polish and yellow pad. So just to kind of get everybody in line with what I'm talking about, it goes Euro wool blend, Euro fiber finisher, maroon, blue, and yellow. So between the maroon and yellow, we place the blue because in our line with the Eurotech, it went yellow directly to maroon.
Gotcha.
The problem with that was either the yellow wasn't enough or the maroon was too much.
Okay.
The sweet spot of that was this blue pad.
Gotcha.
And now, even the demo guys, we've been using this pad more than often in regards to one-step polishes and even finish polishes with some of the best finish polishes out there.
It's like just enough bite, but not too much, but just enough finish.
I mean, like, you know, the soft paints like the Teslas, the Porsches, you know, the Japanese paints. I mean, it's working wonders on what it can do and how it finishes out to where you're able just to, you know, prep and protect.
Whoa. Sorry, we got sidetracked by someone in a suit.
Hey, that's what SEMA is all about. Everybody's walking around.
I was going to text you. Huh? No, I'm not going to mention who you guys are. You going to be around?
I'll be around. How are you?
Sounds good. Remember, Greg? So, we're doing good. Actually, I think Justin needs a little pat, some makeup on the forehead. Camera ready? Later. All right.
My foundation is running.
His foundation is running.
Jimbo's got me so nervous.
His eyeliner.
No, it's Guyliner.
Guyliner.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's how they do it down in Miami.
Yeah, I like that.
Before they go out to the club.
Yeah, Guyliner. Dude, guy makeup. So my wife does makeup, and guy makeup is becoming like a big thing.
I know. I see. She does a good job.
Yeah. Well, she learned from the best. Wait, what?
Anyhow.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So this kind of fits. So I do have a question real quick.
That's a miracle pad right there.
Got it. And it feels nice. It's not too stiff. I prefer stiffer pads like this a little bit.
Well, keep in mind that with our foam in general, you know, think about this. You go buy a mattress. You go lay on a couple of them.
Right.
You know, you ever bought a real firm mattress and it just takes a long time to break in? But you buy a very, what is it, soft mattress.
Right.
And next thing you know, it's dimpled in no time at all.
It's too soft.
That's the concept that we have here with these pads.
Gotcha.
We start with more firm. That way, over time, you get more work time out of it, more cleaning time.
That's a great point.
You get more value.
Okay.
So when you spend the money, $12, $15 on the pad, you get cycle life above and beyond what you're spending. So instead of going, you know, with the cheaper version of that maybe somebody else is making.
Which aren't that much cheaper.
No. And then you're blowing through two or three of them.
100%.
Now you're spending more technically in long term.
Yep.
So that's the whole point of that.
Yep.
It holds its integrity longer for the investment.
Gotcha. Okay. So I have a quick question, and maybe I'm wrong. If I'm understanding it right, are there almost two different I know you talked about like working down the line, but are there almost two separate lines going, and I don't know if lines is the right word, but two separate, like if you like foam, you could do these three. If you're more of a microfiber, you could do these with the...
It's not about what you like, it's about what works.
What works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who cares?
Because we have a most aggressive, middle, soft.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like you had the same thing over here as well, right?
You got to remember, these are fiber-based. The fiber is always going to deliver a different level of cut and finish.
Gotcha.
So that's the thing people need to get out of their head. It's not so much what they like.
Right.
It's a matter of what works. You know, it's just like a mechanic. A mechanic may have a favorite tool, but it doesn't mean he's using that tool all day long. He's got to use what works. You know, he could be a domestic mechanic.
Yep.
And then he gets a foreign car in.
Right.
And he's been using his wonderful tools on because he's only a domestic mechanic, but he's got to go break out those foreign ones.
Right.
He doesn't really like using them, but guess what? It's what fits.
Right.
Same thing with these paint systems. All those variables make a difference, and that's what people got to look at. If you're gonna be a specialist, you know, and that's why we did this line, because if you not necessarily want to be, you know, an all-out kind of guy, but still be able to provide high level like those guys, whether you're an enthusiast or a well-seasoned guy. This 5-pad system will deliver that for all those different levels.
Are they already available? Are they in production? Are they still? Are they available for purchase yet? Do they have a release date?
Leading up to SEMA, of course, we've kept a lot of things hushed. Like there's nothing online.
Right.
So we got to start filling in all those gaps, obviously. But that's where a lot of actual manufacturers land with coming up to SEMA, where they have all these new releases, and you won't see any of it nowhere. And then finally, after the release, it's on their website. It's here. It's there. So you'll start to see it on our website. The blue ones are in full effect. The Euro wool blend, we actually have in production. We don't have them available yet for purchase. I can tell you the first co-branding approach that we've taken would be with PNS Double Black. So there will be a Double Black Reflection Artist pad line, which is what we're looking at here, these 5 pads. It works great with their chemicals, works great with various manufacturers' chemicals. And, you know, I work with a lot of them in regards to testing, and I sometimes take it upon myself to go buy a bottle, even if I'm not affiliated with a brand, just to test it so I could give true market feedback, and not just an opinion based on what I've read somewhere. Yeah.
I love that. Is there any other things that you want to cover that we did not cover with the pads or anything else in general?
Outside of that, as far as new, we've got a couple little things. Like we've got some 1 and 2 inch rotary backing plates. We've also got a 3-inch DA backing plate, a true 3-inch that we delivered now. So those are small things. Outside of that, though, I mean, this pad system is really opens people's eyes that have come by, and they're really interested. We've got quite a few orders that are ready to go.
It's crazy how much you could do, even if you don't switch up the liquid, by just switching up the pad.
Absolutely.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Which is so insane to me. It's like you could do so much damage with one single liquid and just switching up the pad.
Yeah.
And I love that.
That's the variable to everything. And people are like, oh, I've got to go get this and I've got to go get that. And sometimes if you have that idea, if you're doing it often, you're going to know a good starting point. You're going to know, okay, I remember now on this paint system that we were kind of here with this pad and this material.
And then if it doesn't work, you could troubleshoot from there.
Yeah, let's move it up here with the material and move it down there with the pad.
100%.
And in between. And, you know, I found a lot of times, going back to that, you know, specialty aspect, sometimes the throw of the machine makes a world of a difference. Whether it's cutting or finishing. Which is crazy because your pad and your product are great. But the throw is what alters it completely to work for you or against you.
Could be throwing it off.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's the way that the abrasives break down. You know?
Yeah.
The marriage of that abrasive to that surface with that foam and the action of it is what makes a big deal. The mechanical action.
Right. I love it, man. How can people find you, connect with you if they're in the Florida area?
I'm in. I'm in.
I'm geographically
Central Florida.
retarded, so we found that out at Mobile Tech.
That's why he's on the back page of National Geographic.
Right.
Melbourne, Florida, Central Florida is where my shop is.
Got it.
It's JL Showroom Detailing. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. We have our Reflection Artist Facebook and Instagram, Buff and Shine. I mean, technically, how can you not find me is more like the question. And I don't mean that in a you know, in a way. I mean, like, because I have so many. I have so many things going on that it's one of those things that I call it being a product of your environment. You know, I love this industry. I love the way it's going. I don't burn bridges. I make relationships all day long. And it's one of those things that if you're in the industry at that level, it's not hard to find the main guys.
Right. Love it, man. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Thank you, Jimbo.